And so in this verse we are once again told of the reality of the pleasures of this world and of the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us via wealth and via children. From the next section we get to the story of Musa and Khidr from verse 60 to 82. Musa and Khidr. And there's a lot of legends, by the way, about Khidr and a lot of mythical tales that really we just have to nip in the bud. Khidr is not some, superhuman ghost that comes here and there. Khidr is a mortal. He is a human being. He was a prophet whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent to another nation, and he lived and he died. This notion that Khidr is still around and people see him on and off, our religion is not based upon these mythical fable tales. Our religion is based upon the Quran and what our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us. And Khidr, from what we learn from the text, and we derive them from the text, Khidr was a prophet of Allah, contemporaneous to Musa. He had knowledge and Musa had knowledge. He had a status and Musa had a status, and Musa spends some time with Khidr, and the story of Khidr only occurs in this section of the Quran. He is not referenced anywhere else in the Quran. So what are some of the wisdoms we can extract from this story of Musa and Khidr? A number of things. First and foremost, the humility of Musa. Musa, despite the fact that he was the one whom Allah spoke with, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose him, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted him so many miracles. Despite all of that, when he found out that there was another person who knew something he did not know, so he asked Allah permission, can I go and accompany him? And this shows us that to gain knowledge, you really must accompany somebody, because knowledge is not just found in books and in online lectures. Yes, it is. When there's no alternative, then obviously we will read and we will study online and whatnot. But to really become a bona fide scholar, to become an actual alim, really you need to study at the feet of another alim, because knowledge isn't just what is found in the books, it is also in the accompanying a person and seeing the adab and the etiquettes, and Musa did this with Khidr. We also see you have to have humility, the humility of Musa to learn from another person, even though he was so blessed by Allah. This shows us, dear Muslim, no one should ever be too arrogant to learn something new from anyone. Every single person whom you meet has something to teach you. Every human being can benefit you in some way if you are humble enough to listen. Can you imagine how knowledgeable you would become if you benefited from every person you ever encountered? So subhanAllah, we learn this from Musa alayhi salam. And in the three stories of Musa and Khidr, again there's so much wisdom, we just have to quickly summarize this, that of the blessings that we gain of the three encounters of Musa and Khidr, of the blessings is that a temporary calamity is always a blessing in disguise if you have faith in Allah. The fisherman's boat was bored with a hole, that Khidr put a hole in the boat, and the fishermen were irritated, they were frustrated, and yet because of that, it was a calamity. Because of that, they were saved from a much larger calamity, and that is the confiscation of the boats by the king. We also learn in these three stories, the story of the boy, that when Allah Azza wa Jal takes someone or something away, that Allah substitutes someone or something better in its place. And this is again very explicit in the Quran, that Allah Azza wa Jalla wanted to substitute. So when Allah takes something away and you are patient, Allah will give you something or someone, either a concept or an idea or an entity or a person or some blessing that is better for you, even if you don't see it or don't recognize it, than what has been taken away. And we also learn from these three stories that when our du'as are delayed, when we don't get what we want, that there is divine wisdom in that delay. Imagine this, the orphans with their widowed mother. Their mother is all alone, she has orphans, and the treasure is buried under the wall, as the story says. And they were not given that treasure right then and there. It was delayed another decade or two until these young orphans became young men. And subhanAllah, then they got the money. Can you imagine the lady, the widow, is making dua to Allah, I need money, oh Allah, I need money, oh Allah, and she's not getting any money. And if she had gotten the money at that stage, these evil townspeople who didn't even give Musa and Khidr a glass of water, do you think that they would have allowed the orphans to get their money? No. Allah gave them what they needed when they needed it. We learn from this story that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows when to give us what we need. We might think we need something right now, and Allah knows now is not the time for us. So yes, we make dua. We don't stop making dua. We make dua, we make dua, we make dua, but deep down inside we also recognize and know that, look, there must be a divine wisdom. Whatever is happening for a higher purpose.